Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It's Malcolm Peters on the 1st of October. Wow, time flies, 2017, for our Sunday evening team call. We didn't have one last week, and I'm very excited about today's call because September has really been a call and a half. So there's me with a little lag. We have a time lag because I have to actually watch what you guys are saying as well. So let me just get myself organized. So as you come online, please introduce yourselves, your first names, where you're calling from. I'm calling in from West London, near Heathrow. You can probably hear the planes at the moment on a very, very rainy day. Always rains in England, but our ducks are very, very happy. So as you come online, please introduce yourselves, your first names, where you're calling from. Hi, Embrace Life. There's Jacqueline calling in from Holland. Great to have you online. We've got Margaret. Welcome to the call, Margaret, from the Netherlands, from Holland. Welcome. Jean-Claude Salil. Welcome to the call from France. Great to have you online. We've got Instant Age Renewal, my dear. We need to know who you are. Oh, it's Beshra. Hi, Beshra. Welcome to the call. I need some of that renewal lately. Late nights. Beshra, welcome to the call, my dear. Tammy, welcome to the call. Great to have you online. As you come online, please introduce yourselves, your first names and where you're calling from. We're going to get the call started in about 2 minutes. We have a slight technical hitch. We've got one person lost in space at the moment. The gremlins are at play, so we're really hoping we can get her online. A newly qualified Sapphire elite. I'm sure you all want to hear from her. Today's call is very exciting, and as you probably know, for the last year and a half, I've had these calls on Sunday on behalf of GPG. We get leadership, anyone who's a Sapphire and above, to come and share with us, and it's my pleasure and my privilege tonight to introduce not one, not two, but 4 newly qualified Sapphire and Sapphire elites as well. We're going to spend another minute on introductions, and I'm going to get the call started. We've got Suzanne who's calling in. Hi, Suzanne from South Africa. Welcome to the course. Octavia from South Africa, welcome to the call. We got Success Team. Like, you know, I have a crystal ball there, and I'm going to put my little gypsy hat on with my earrings through my nose. Who are you, please? Success Team, whoever you are, welcome to the call from Greece. We got Dion, welcome to the call from Cape Town. Great to see you online. Karen Rue, welcome to the call from Cape Town. Lots of people calling in from South Africa. The call is recorded, so for those of you who've missed it, you need a slap bottom. You should be here supporting our calls on Sundays, but we will be able to cover, or you'll be able to watch the webinar itself on a recording. And as we now build up towards Christmas with a 90-day run that we're going to talk about very shortly, this is the time to really use this call and utilize it to make sure that new people who are looking at the business for the first time can see how we operate, and we have a fabric of training and support worldwide. It's also good to motivate and inspire people who are in the business, who've been with us for a little while, because Monday mornings is normally difficult for people, you know, new start, new week. It's good to get them fired up. And I think also for brand new distributors, so that they can feel part of this large organization called GPG. So really, a couple more introductions and we get the call started. We've got Natalia, welcome to the call from London. Fabulous to have you online. We've got Duchess Daly, that's our fabulous contributor today. She's actually taking notes today. Andriani, calling in from Nicosia in Cyprus. And we have Beauty with Benefits. This is Christina from Cyprus as well. Welcome to the call. We've got Maria, who's calling in from Athens. Fabulous. Welcome to the call from Athens. Okay, without further ado, I'm sure there are lots more people coming online. A couple of ground rules, if I can just lay them out, please. Please don't have sideline conversations in the chat area. It's extremely distracting, not just for the people that are here from all over the world listening into the call, but also for my fabulous guests that we've got online. Now, you know, we've had a quiet week last week. We didn't have this call. So as I get the call started, let me just make sure we try and get back on track. Last week, I didn't have a call. It's the first weekend, really, I had off. I had a lot of things to do with my family and my normal life, as it were. And it was so wonderful to get back and get myself revved up for the call this Sunday, because during this last 2 weeks or 3 weeks, as you all know, we've had a momentous occasion as far as the opening of a new country is concerned. And one of the individuals who's on this call today, I'm going to introduce her shortly, really has been the forefront leader of opening up that marketplace for Global Partners Group. And as a result of that, a phenomenal wave of excitement, energy, and product flow has taken place in just the last 14, 20 days, maximum of around 2 to 3 weeks. It has created a wave of excitement, and more importantly, in that wave carried forward are people that have now qualified up as new ranks. The first ranks that we recognize in this business as being leadership, which is Sapphire, and true leadership, because Sapphires are good leaders. It's the first step, the kindergarten of leadership. But directors and onwards are people who have who've got substantial groups and consistently are showing leadership by knowing the way, going the way, and showing the way. My first guest tonight is a wonderful lady who I got to meet in America, in Florida. And until that time, we've always sort of known each other online. That's how all of us in GPG, who've known each other for several years, most of us, have always got in touch. And I met her, and I think she's absolutely fabulous. One of the most knowledgeable people that you will meet in this industry. A legend in her lifetime, in that she's the only person I've met in well over 30 years now, who's actually built a customer base and serviced 1,000 customers at one time with one company. Quite extraordinary. But tonight, calling in from Canada, I have my very special guest, Sandy Chambers, who's going to be talking to you about one of the principal I suppose, subjects that we need to focus on with new people, and that's goal setting. So let me introduce you all to Sandy Chambers, calling in from Canada.
Thanks, Malcolm. I don't think you'll ever forget that weekend, and neither will I. It was fabulous for that week. I first of all want to congratulate all our new Sapphires and our Sapphire Elites. I know what it took to get there, and I'm just so proud of you. And I know that I thought goal setting was an appropriate subject today because I know that you've all been setting your goals to get there. I love goal setting. It's one of my favorite topics. And I used to be a goal setter even as a child, but I didn't know the steps per se. I just, this is what I'm going to do and go for it. But it's an interesting point that what you think about, you have the ability to bring about. And, a lot of people think, they get this idea and they think, oh, I could never do that. And they disqualify themselves before they even get started. So if you have the ability to think up what rank you want to be at or what you want to do, what your goal is, you do have the ability to see it to fruition. So I want to make that very clear to begin with, because don't disqualify yourself before you even get started. When I mentioned I was always a goal setter, and one day I had a book given to me by Robert Schuller, and I don't even know, this is going back 25, 30 years ago, I don't even know what the title was. I knew I read that book so much, the pages were all flying out, they're in a million directions because I had read it so much, but it changed my life. And the one thing that stayed with me was how to set goals and how to go through them right to the very end, to that stage of victory. And so I thought I'd like to share that with you. First of all, when the first stage is planting a seed stage. This is when an idea is born to you. We all get ideas from time to time, and sometimes we disqualify them and say, well, that's not a great idea. We go through this, but some of the best ideas that we've ever come up with, I think, are the last thing you think of when you're going to bed at night or the first thing in the morning. It comes into your mind. Write them down, because you might, on thinking about it even more, find that this is the way to go. So that stage is where an idea is born to you. The second stage, oh, and I want to say before I get into the second stage, make sure that your goals are worthy of you. I once saw, the National Film Board in Canada once did a movie, and it was black and white. That's how old it was. And it was facing people's fears. And what was interesting was her goal, she had two fears: swimming in the water and jumping from a plane. So guess what they had her doing? Parachuting out of the plane into the water. And it went through all the feelings that this woman had leading up to it, and how to pack her own, I think it was called Pack Your Own Chute, how important it was to pack your own chute and prepare for this goal. But what I will never forget is, as she's coming up from the water, the look of victory, the jubilant, I did it. And that's how you should feel when you attain your goals. That makes the goal worthy of you. I'm not talking about my goal is to put the wash in today, or my goal is, oh, I'm going to try to find one person. Make that goal something big. Stretch yourself. And that way you will be so excited when you reach it. And that's what I'm talking about, a goal worthy of you. The second stage is the questioning stage. This is where you take your idea and you ask, is this a beautiful idea? How important is, how is it going to change my life if I do this goal? Is it going to make a difference? Am I going to do it? What do I have to invest in? The number one question that holds people back is, what if I fail? And I think that is so important to realize that people have failed to success. If Edison, I've forgotten how many times he failed to create the electric bulb, but what if he walked away from it? We wouldn't be enjoying electricity. So, he didn't see it as a failure. Every time an experiment failed for him, he felt he was one step closer to the goal. And that's how you should feel. You've heard the term, fail yourself to success, and so don't, set a plan in place. This is the third one, working the plan. You can't just think about something and say, my goal is going to come true because I'm thinking about it all the time. No, you need to develop a plan. And what is interesting is you may know the first few steps, and then you think, well, how this step or goal is so big, I don't know how to get there. But what's interesting, as you start moving forward in your goal, doors open for you, doors that you never expected, and they'll show you the way. So as long as, I always say that nothing ever happens from inertia. No momentum happens from inertia. You've got to get moving and going forward in that process towards your goal. Every day you should be thinking, and I think this is so appropriate because, as you were saying, Malcolm, October, November, and December are fabulous months of the year for this business. So what are you going to do each and every day? And say to yourself in the morning, what can I do today to get myself closer to my goal? So you want to work the plan and move forward. And you also want to make it visual. The first time I heard about this, as I mentioned, it was 25, 30 years ago. And I thought, okay, I want a car with the company I was working with, and I'm going to go through this process. And they told me to take a sticky note and place it with your goal and the date in ink on the sticky note. So it was going to be a pink car, and a pink Buick, and I figured by March 31st, whatever the year was, I wrote that on, and because I was in my car all the time, plunked it on the steering wheel. But they said on the reverse of the page, you should write the, now this is biblical, but knock and the door shall be opened. Seek and you shall find. And this little flap, it was sticky on one side. So as I'm driving along the car, I could see my goal every step of the way, every single day. And when it's foremost in your mind, the reason you want it to be visual and you want it in front of you all the time is so that you're thinking and you're not digressing off the road to what your goal is. So that I did. And a picture says 1,000 words. It can emit an emotion from you. Like when I look at my goal and it's a picture, say I want to go to Paris and I'm looking at the Eiffel Tower, I feel something when I look at that goal. And it's the emotion that will move you forward. You want to feel it and feel it every day so that this keeps you going. And don't listen to people saying, you can't do this. Just keep going and get closer every day. I remember one time, my goal was to be a director in this company. And I wrote drew a big thermometer and put it on my fridge. And the idea was that if my kids gave me some time to go director, I would take the 5 of us to Hawaii for 3 weeks. So I figured it out. How much is it going to cost me? And that was at the top of my thermometer. And then every week I color in how much I brought in to pay for that trip. And you can't imagine, I had the family behind me. They're throwing me out the door because I didn't have enough colored in that week. And they were saying, you know, we got to see this. And so it was a visual. Robert Schuller's story is very interesting too. His goal was to create that beautiful crystal cathedral. And it was going to take him millions of dollars. So if you are looking at Sapphire Elite or Ruby and you know you need 100, 200 cycles, whatever it may be, the volume, think about how you could get it. For him, he was, you know, say it was going to be $10 million. Well, he could have 10 people giving him $1 million, or he could have 20 giving him $500,000. And he worked it down right to $100 donations. And that's how he got his goal. And you could do the same thing in working your plan. The next step is, what's the fourth one? Oh, this one is very, very interesting because I never knew it existed. And this is the arresting phase. If your goal is big enough and worthy of you, you will find that every single time you are going to go through this phase. And it usually happens at the 11th hour where everything goes for a crap, like pardon English. And you think, oh my gosh, how can this be happening? And we were going along beautifully, and now just before the end, everything's falling apart. Well, it's on purpose, because you know, whoever you believe in is testing you to see whether you believe in yourself strongly enough to carry it through, whether you're the person that should be, you know, fulfilling his goal. And it's just a testing phase. So, you know, the first time I did this, true to form, I went through this phase. I was going for my car, and it was taking 6 months. And we were just, we were going along tickety-boo for 5 months. It was 10 o'clock or 11 o'clock the night before. I had to get everything in the mail, because in those days there was no computers. So you had to, you know, send all your checks in for orders. And I had decided my way of doing it was going to be, I had so many people and they were all going to do small $100 orders. And that would get me to finish my volume for that car. Well, at that amount, you know, 10:30, 11 o'clock at night, I'm getting phone calls. Oh, I gotta buy tires for my car. I can't put in my little order tonight. So I'll have to, and it was one after another. And I thought, what am I going to do? And in the book it said, now this kind sounds a little hokey, but it worked for me. They said, take a glass of water before you go to bed, and take half the glass of water and drink it. Put the others beside your night table. And when you wake up in the morning, take a drink and think of, you know, how am I going to finish this goal? And there was a voice from within that said to me, all month long, you've been interviewing people. Go back and close them. Well, why didn't I think of that? I was relying on all these little tiny orders. And so I got on the phone that day. There was this last day of the month. And I phoned the people that I had been interviewing. At the end of the day, I had double the amount of volume that I needed for my goal. If I'd gone for the little teeny weeny orders, we would have just made it. So, you know, as I say, as you're moving forward, sometimes it doesn't work out the way you think it's going to work out. It can be even better. But it takes you moving along and planning every step of the way. And the fifth step is the celebratory stage. You've made it. Celebrate. Reward yourself, because that's what goal setting is all about. You know, celebrate your success and remember that moment, that how you felt when you achieved it. Because the next time that you're going to set a goal, you want to remember that, so that you're working forward to really enjoy the moment, because it should be fun. And I'll tell you, every time I have set goals, I've gone through all 5 stages. And there's the 4th stage that you've really got to believe, because it will carry you through. Thanks, Malcolm.
Fabulous as always, Sandy. So thank you so much for that. I just want to, I always like to sort of round up, and before I bring on my next guest, a couple of points. If you don't know where you're going, you're not going to like where you end up. You should write that down somewhere. And we have too many people who've got this idea that, oh, I'm going to give this a try. And really something, let me tell you about this business. In any of these home-based businesses, if you walk in with the attitude, I'll give it a try, it's going to try you. There is no question that this business works. Kim Hu in 2014 was earning $400,000 a month. That was 3 years ago. Since then, the company has grown 3 times, and she's at the top of all of that growth. I think personally, I'm quite openly saying this on this call, she must be well over $1 million a month. Do you think when she started, she sat there and was imagining, well, I'll give it a try for a couple of days or whatever? I'm trying to explain to you, there's no question it works. The question is, what's going to motivate you to work this business, to take you where you want to go? If you don't know where you're going, you're not going to like where you end up. Also mentioned here was a great book, Napoleon Hill. It's actually, you should all get it, Think and Grow Rich. And it says, whatever the mind of man can conceive and believe, it can achieve. Was it not for that thinking, we wouldn't have the internet that we've got right now. I wouldn't have the webcam I'm talking to you on. We wouldn't have the clothes that we're wearing or the mobile phones. You know, people say to me, Malcolm, I'll believe it when I see it. Prove it to me. I don't prove nothing to nobody. I always tell people this, those who believed first, indeed did see. No question about it. You also heard, visualize it. And I'm guilty of it. I'm sure all of you are. Years ago in the Amway business when I first started, they told us the same as they told Sandy. Get yourself a picture on the fridge. And I thought, what a load of baloney. Oh, what fridge? What are you talking about? But you know something? Everybody who did that and visualized it and put it into their subconscious mind achieved their goals. And years later, when I started working with that, it also helped me to achieve my goals. And there's a lady online right now I'm going to introduce you to with a huge fanfare, a lady who's come on my calls several times and made a great contribution. And she's been talking to us, and for the last 11 months, she's proved to everybody in GPG what persistence is all about, what patience is all about. For 11 months, she sat down and she waited and she worked with 1 or 2 individuals, and from that created an army in India. And that guest has just qualified as a Sapphire Elite. It is my pleasure, my privilege for this wonderful, wonderful lady to come online and share with you a little bit of information. And she's going to be talking to you about, he says, looking for his bits and pieces, leading change. No one better could talk to you about leading change than Colleen Ferguson, calling in from Canada. Colleen.
Well, thank you very much, Malcolm. You always, every time you introduce, it always moves me. So thank you very much for that introduction. I am fighting a little bit of a cold right now from our trip to India, so just pardon me if I sound a little nasally and whatnot, but the trip was certainly well worth anything I can possibly imagine. So I first want to just follow up Sandy. A lot of what Sandy just finished saying is very, very similar to what I wanted to share and talk about today. And goal setting, I think, just is very similar to leading with change. And for me, I've always had a very strong will and belief and drive. That's just always been something I've always had. But I have had a lot of fears and hurdles and things like that that maybe cause me to not be where I could be in life with anything, really. And I have always believed that you must have an open mind and learn whatever you can from whoever you can to better yourself in this life, in this journey of life, whether it's for business, relationships. It doesn't matter what it is. I'm a mom of 2 children. I certainly never believe I know everything. I learn from other people. But in this industry, moving from, I had a very, very strong business background, and I own my own bridal shop for 10 years. And when I started that business, again, I had to change my thinking and my mindset from what I had known and was comfortable in working for other people into moving into owning my own business. So there was a lot of change that had to take place, and a lot of change to me is overcoming fears or unknowns. That's really what change is. It's not that anybody can change. The only reason why people don't change, in my opinion, is that they're afraid of the unknown. They're comfortable with what they know. And if you want to make an impact in other people's lives, maybe your own, maybe other people's, maybe your family's. You must change. You just have to. And I'll just share with you a few of the things I had to change to get to where I am now as a Sapphire Elite, which in my opinion is a title for my team. I just wear it on my shirt proudly, but it's my team's title. I've been Sapphire for 3 years. Now understand, I own my own business for 10 years. And the first 2 years of Jeunesse, I did have my own bridal shop that was open 7 days a week. So that was my focus. But once I made the decision to close my bridal shop, that was a huge decision that I had to make with my husband to just close it. I didn't sell it. I just decided that it is time for a change and I have to take this business seriously. I can see how big this business is. It's unbelievable. And I just didn't know. I really truly was ignorant to this industry until I studied it and learned with Jeunesse. I feel spoiled that Jeunesse was my very first network marketing company. There's lots of people that have been through many others, and Jeunesse is the best. And yes, I've studied a lot of them. I can say that with confidence, even if it's not with experience. So I had to make a big change and be uncomfortable with closing down my bridal shop as full time. And then once I started to do that, then I had to change my thinking of maybe things I thought I knew and being open to learning other ways of doing things. And you do all that by reading, Think and Grow Rich. Holy smokes, that's been an incredibly impactful book in my career in this business. There's many books. Paula Pritchard's book by far was one of my favorite and still is. I still refer to it all the time. You have to know that what you know today is not what things can be tomorrow. And unless you doing these different things, you'll never know what things could have been like. Do you think 1 year ago I could have ever imagined I would be on an airplane going 14 hours into India to meet with people that have now become to me dear friends, if not like family? You just can't even imagine it. So if I didn't make the decision to change and know that life can be different, life can be better, and I can impact people's lives, I would still be back where I was a year ago. So I just think that people need to recognize that to change, you have to identify what it is you want to change. Why do you want to change something? For me, I wanted to get over my fears, which were great. I had a huge fear of flying. You have to get over these fears in order to see what's on the other side. I would never have been able to help my team and impact their lives if I let fear control and keep me where I was a year ago. So if people can identify what it is that's holding them back from being better or offering more to other people, that to me is the #1 first step. And then once you've decided what it is you want to change, you then have to envision what will life look like once you've made the change and conquered the fear, which to me that's what change is. It's conquering fears. And then what difference will you be making in other people's lives, and why is that really important to you or to them or to your family? You have to identify all these different things before you'll start to make the steps into doing the change. And then you have to decide, what is the first step I'm going to take to make the change? For me, it's been many different things. First, I had to decide, this is not about me. This is about my team. This is about helping other people's lives, something near and dear to my heart my whole life. I may not have a lot of experience in network marketing, but I have always wanted to help people and love doing that and do it with passion and pride. So if that's why you want to change, then now you have to start learning from other people. How can I change this? What is it that I need to do to start to develop this change? And always believing that you can change. I think people think they can't, and I've always been baffled by that. Of course you can. Everybody can change, or there would never be any famous athletes. And I mean, do you think they were born an athlete? No. They knew that they could get better, and they had more perseverance than most people do. And they let less people affect their decisions by only listening to themselves and surrounding themselves with people that stimulate that thought pattern within them. So once you start to move into that direction, you would be very surprised how quickly you do start to change. And very much like what Sandy said about that person that jumped into the water out of the airplane, landed in the water, and then came up out of the water, and they were like a different person because they had conquered that goal or that fear. I think it's more fear. You become someone else. And once you become someone, you're not really someone else, you're just a better version of you. And once you become a better version of you, then you can pass that on and lead with change. You start to lead your team with change. And that, to me, is what is a very main factor in if you want to be a good leader, you must learn, like Malcolm says all the time, show the way, go the way, and then you teach other people what you've learned. So for me, that's been the major change in my career with Janess. I focused on changing me. And once I changed me, then everything in my business changed. And I know this is just the very beginning of me being able to help more and more and more people over and over and over and over. And that's my goal, is to change as many people's lives as I can, because that's what makes me happy. So with that, Malcolm, back to you.
You're very modest. Thank you so much for that. I need to get a sound check. We've got lovely Laurie, who's lost in space at the moment. So I'm going to just let you all have a second. Laurie, if you're there, do you want to try and do a sound check, please? Laurie, you there? You bear with me, everybody. It's live call.
Can you hear me?
There you are. We can see you.
Malcolm,
Hey, welcome to our call.
can you hear me?
I can hear you and see you. Excellent. All right, so we'll have you on shortly. Thank you. She's struggled. You need to move your camera downwards a little bit because your chin is touching the speaker panel at the moment. So great stuff. We've got you. Dan, thank you very, very much for that. Okay, let me just go back, if I can, and share with you a couple of points that have been brought up and why I said my good friend, and I've met her once, only once, and there's plenty to get to know people because you can feel their hearts. Colleen, I want to share with you a little bit while we get ourselves organized for my next two guests. In fact, 3 guests that are coming online. You know, 1 second can change your life. And I've always told people, for things to change, things have got to change. And it's got to start with you. And I want you to think about this and write this down somewhere. We're in October now of 2017, and how fast these last 10 months have gone. I want you to visualize, if you could, by closing your eyes just for a split second, looking back 3 years ago to 2014, October 2014, around the time that I was just beginning to get started at looking at this business. And I want you to imagine that you kept the same friends. You carried on doing exactly what you do. You carried on the same routines, because that's what we are. Human beings are routine characters. We look for the least path of resistance. We sit there 9 o'clock to 5 o'clock working for someone else. Many people do 5 to 9, watch other people's sex life on TV, and we sit there waiting because tomorrow things are going to change. I want you to visualize, if you didn't change your friends, you didn't change your thinking, you carried on with the same software routines in your mind that you had in 2014 until now. What's going to happen in 2020 October, people? What's going to happen? I believe nothing's going to happen. It's going to be the same result that you got now, that you got last year, and you got in 2014 as well. And the great thing about this business is it takes a split second or 1 or 2 individuals to change everything. I'm going to have to spend time on this because it's important you all understand. Around 11 months ago, Colleen Ferguson put out some adverts, and she found one individual who I can't wait to bring onto this call, Madhusan. And she found him in India. There was no India Open. There was no paperwork, no products, nothing. Correct, Colleen? And she stood there and she decided that this guy is a networker, is looking for a deal. And she told him with passion about our business. She got him fired up with something that he could see mentally and visually, but couldn't taste or touch because it wasn't there. And there was no guarantee when it was going to come there. Over the next 11 months, Colleen Ferguson started talking to people, and through there she met Ashwath and many others. That team grew to over 4,000 people from that one person that Colleen had never met in her life. I hope you're taking note of what I'm saying to you. One person, one, became 4,000. And when India opened its doors just a few weeks ago, those people went to work, and you haven't seen anything yet. And the beauty of this business is that when you understand how a binary works and you get volume on one side and everybody is marching to the tune of creating momentum, the wave will push a lot of people up into different levels of leadership. And for that reason, Colleen Ferguson and another one of my guests today are the two Sapphire elites that we broke in GPG last month. And I am so proud and privileged to know both of them. You've heard from one, you're going to hear from two. But part of that growth also is that when you come in, you're brand new, you start getting your baby steps. The first real leadership position, I believe, that gets you ready for director level onwards is Sapphire. And it's my pleasure to introduce to you, one after the other, two wonderful, gorgeous ladies who have stuck it out, who have come on board, just like all of you who are looking at this for the first time, came on board and moved forward and qualified at that first wonderful, wonderful, valuable level, I call it. We've got Jade, which is great, and Pearl is fantastic, but Sapphire is a bit of an emerald kind of stone. It's a special stone. I'd like to introduce you all, if I can, with a lady who's come online today from South Africa. She's got a slight whooshing in the background with her sound, and she's going to get slap bottom because I'm going to help her with her commissions to get a new microphone and a new camera. I'd like you all to spend a few moments to listen to my next guest, Lindy Blomkamp, calling in from South Africa. She's going to share with you her background, how she heard about this. Listen to her story. Lindy.
Thank you, Malcolm, and thank you, everyone. Just not if you can, if my sound is good.
We need you to speak up, girl, because we can hardly hear you. Come on.
Okay, cool. Can you hear me now?
Brilliant, yes.
Okay, well, firstly, thank you so much for having me, and congrats to all the other ladies and all the rank achievements in GPG. A little bit about myself. I've been in the financial industry for over 21 years. I've worked for auditors firms. I helped out at various businesses. Never in my life did I think or thought that I would ever do network marketing. My mom did a few network marketing companies, and I thought to myself, this is not me. This is not for me. It's not how I want to see myself. I'm going to have my 9-to-5 job. And by having my 9-to-5 job, I missed my kids growing up. I could not go on holiday when I needed to. I couldn't even think for myself, because you have to work for someone the way that they want to have it done, and no one else, you can't do it for yourself. And when my sponsor actually gave me this opportunity, it took me 7 times of her hounding me and asking me, listen, are you in or out? And I mean, 7 times before I said yes. And, Liesel's persistence, Liesel is my sponsor, and, for hounding me and for telling me, listen, you need to do this. I saw an opportunity to grow myself as a person, to do what I needed to do, to be with my kids, to go on holiday and work from wherever I can. Technology is in such a way that you can actually work anywhere, anytime. I can sit in, Nigeria, and I can speak to people in Russia about this. So this is really, really good. I love network marketing now, especially with Shanice, where you have 6 different streams of income in the company itself. And that made it very lucrative for me and very, appealing. So my advice to people, new distributors, old distributors, doesn't matter. You know what? Just get someone that you can have as an accountability partner. It's very important.
Lindy, one moment, my dearest. We've got such a huge amount of interference, because I want to try and, you've got some great information you're sharing. Can you try and put your microphone really close to your mouth? What you do is you got your earpiece, get one of these out and get your microphone very close to your mouth so we can hear you. Because at the moment we're struggling with the background noise, and I'm hoping that, because I will come over there and slap your bottom, you're going to have to get a better microphone and a camera if you come on the call. So let's try again. So you were just saying, if I can tell everybody, that You need to have an accountability partner. That's what you said last.
That's right, yes. You know, I've been in the business now in genetics for about 18 months. I tried to do this on my own. You know, I did have some support from my team and from my sponsor, but I never really had an accountability partner. And as soon as I've got, you know, the lovely Sharon next to me, things really changed, because on days that I felt, you know, this is it, I'm done with this, and you do get those days, it's necessary to have them. You know, that's where she and all my accountability partner came in and said, you know what, have your 15 minutes of ice cream, you know, don't eat an ice cream, get over it, and just let's go on. Because, you know, it's your vision and it's your goal that you need to chase. And your accountability partner as well needs to know that, because they need to hold you accountable for that, for your dreams, which you are working towards. And you know what? I heard a nice thing the other day, or a very, very brilliant thing. If there's 1,000 people working for a goal of $1 million that they want to earn in 1 month, what are you going to do to outwork them? What are you going to do to out-earn them? You know, leave the TV. I don't even watch TV anymore. Be on the training course. Go to the events. You know, find a way to make your business work for you. Leverage of the knowledge and the ability of the leaders until you know what to do and how to do it. Learn how to do it. That's the most important thing. You know, go out, do the demos. You know, instantly ageless and indie. What can give people instant gratification? Why not use it? Show support to your upline, your downlines. Don't expect things just to happen. You need to have the goals, and you need to have a vision, and you need to have a plan to get there. And you know, just be real. Just be real. Don't be someone that you're not. And one last thing I want to leave you guys with. There's an animation called Robots, and I don't know if you ever watched it, but there's one line in the movie. See me, fill in me. That is so true. You know what? Everyone needs something. It's your job to go and find that need and fill it. Whether it is the business opportunity to have some extra income, whether it is the NCPHs to get rid of some wrinkles, whether it is the MD to cover some pigmentation, or the reserve even for someone to have a healthy lifestyle. You need to fill in me. So thank you so much for having me.
It's a real pleasure. We've struggled through that a little bit. What I'd like you to do, Lindy, can you make a note, please? And please do, because I'd like to have you on another call. Is I'd like you to please get someone to check your computer, try and get a microphone, and we'll do a test, because we really couldn't hear that. But I'm going to share with everyone some of the points that you've made. You were in financial services, the financial industry, for a long time. You never imagined ever you were going to do network marketing. Your mother gave it a try several times. But I think the most important thing that I got from your input on the call today was that the person who brought you into this business contacted you 7 times before you said yes. I want everyone on this call to make a note of what she said. 7 times. Because most people right now have a habit that they go up to someone and they say blah, 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 and the person says, no, I want to think about it, or whatever. Their bottom starts twitching and they run away. And that's the end of that person. And they get 3 or 4 of those, and suddenly they think this doesn't work. There's no question it works. The question is, what's going to motivate you to carry on, to understand that maybe the timing is not right for that person. Maybe they haven't heard what they need to hear to make them have a serious look at what we're doing. We're looking for serious people. We're not looking for curious people. But there's got to be something that you say that gets their attention. Very much like Colleen did with Madhu-san in India. She said something to him that must have got his attention. He was so fired up by it, he went and spoke to Ashwath about it. And Ashwath went to work, and everybody else in that team, and 4,000 people came on board. You also mentioned here that you have to leverage everything that we actually have available. You've got to leverage your products, Instantly Ageless and NV. You said that, you can't understand why people are not going out, and I agree with you, trying this product out with people. I want all of you to make a note of this, because it was a difficult, very difficult section there. I take my hat off to you for persevering, Lindy, for coming through with that, but we need to get your microphone sorted out. You know what I don't understand? I want to ask you all a question. Write this down. I want you to think about, look out your window tomorrow morning, Monday morning, and within a 5 kilometer, or in, I think, because I'm old fashioned, I am old, I suppose, 4 mile radius of where you live, or 5 kilometers of where you live, how many people do you think have actually taken this extraordinary product that helped me to go emerald in 6 months, that one, how many have actually had that product with someone doing this and putting it on their eyes? How many have done that? Now I probably have one eye that's going to be a lot flatter than the other one, I bet the other one as well. How many have gone out there and taken NV, or how many people have had this product on their skin? So when someone says to you, I'm not sure about this, you need to understand that I think 99.9999999% of people have never tried the product out. So you're absolutely right. You've got to leverage the product. You've got to be able to get this product out and put it on people's skin. It's all in the show, Paula Pritchard tells us. You also said leverage and work with the upline and downline, that you get information from everywhere. Find a way to get what you need. I couldn't get the rest of the call, unfortunately, but I've tried to make notes on what you've said. And Lindy, I think you're a wonderful lady. I'd like you on my call again, and we'd like to do that if we can with a really clear microphone. But what's interesting about your story, you met up with my next guest, and my next guest is amazing. I met her, and you can't miss her really, because because I'm short, and she's sort of a little bit taller than I am. She's got this Boer Dutch blood, you see. So that's why whenever I'm in Holland, I'm sort of a midgety kind of person. I think several of us in this call can relate to that. We're not exactly very tall. And she came over. We met her in America at one of our events, and really is an incredible character. And what Lindy said there was she had someone she met in this business and became an accountability partner. Someone that will be there, that can bounce stuff off her and get her and ask her, in other words, make her accountable for what she said. My next guest is the wonderful Sharon Wilkinson, just newly qualified out as a Sapphire. She's someone who really understands what I normally say on this call: know the way, go the way, and show the way. On their own, these two ladies have gone out there with many, many other Sapphires that you haven't met yet, started a firestorm. If there's anyone who really knows how to build this business from scratch without any real prior background, is going to share with you her story that you need to listen to. Sharon Wilkinson, calling in from South Africa. Sharon.
Hi, Malcolm. How are you? Good, good. Hi, thanks, everybody. I'm actually a little bit fired up about this call and everything that's kind of going on at the moment. Myself and Lindy, she mentioned that we become accountability partners. I mean, we met a year ago. We've just kind of recently become a Facebook 1 year anniversary, and we really started working together at the end of, I think it was May or June. I think we actually don't even really know when it kind of happened or how it kind of happened, but we found each other. I think I picked up the phone and I phoned her to ask a question the one day, and we just kind of never left each other's side going forward, which has been really, really good, because as she was mentioning, unfortunately her microphone's a little bit scratchy at the moment. Is she has her bad days and I have my bad days. And I think as a human, you can say, you know what, that's okay. But you need somebody who's in the background who can pick up the phone and say, by all means, have your 5 minutes, have your 50 minutes, have your half a day, have a day, fall off the bandwagon. Tomorrow I'm going to phone you and we're back on track again, and we're going to keep rolling it again. So I wanted to just give you a little bit of a background about myself. I come from a sales industry. I probably was in the sales industry for about 15 years. I was in beauty, I was in clothing. I had a clothing boutique that I ran from my house. Then all of a sudden, my husband started getting involved with network events. He started going to it. He was looking at financial, different strategy planning, those types of things. And he happened to meet somebody who's very close to you as well, our big old Oliver as well. And he met my husband, and Oliver convinced him to get me involved in the business. I said, no, wasn't for me. Your thought process of network marketing is very, very scary. So took me a day and a half or so, and we got onto a call. And from there, what happened was I thought, let's give it a go. I did some research on the products. Oliver actually joined me at an event close to my house. Sorry, we're going to get a little extra body here. Garth, go to Dad. Sorry. Should be in bed. Thank you. He likes my lipstick. Only my kids. All right, so back to that. When you say a lot of the things of doing demos, doing the show, we actually, myself and Oliver, I met him for the first time. We got out, and I stay right next door to a golf club, and what happened was he kind of arrived there. We signed up, and what happened was he said, let's go and do some demos. And I said to him, no, I wasn't so sure. And they call them the patio pigeons. They're older ladies, let's say. I actually don't even know. I think they're in their 70s. So there are a whole lot of them. They're all sitting on the patio drinking wine, and Oliver and myself kind of went over there and we did demos on all of these ladies, and the reaction was absolutely amazing. So this is how my journey kind of started in the business, and from there I thought, all right, let's go, and I was going to run with it. So I got involved in it specifically because of Reserve. I love the product Reserve. My family takes it, my kids take it. I have a 2-year-old, my 4-year-old that you've just seen. In terms of the business, my mom's got cancer. So when I did the research on a few things on helping with the cellular, this internal cell repair and maintenance, pain management, those types of things. It's something that's just on and off, but you kind of have dealt with it. She's in remission at the moment, so all good, and we're kind of on the right track. One of the things that people generally you hear, I've been very fortunate to go to the Orlando Expo where I met yourself, Malcolm, and now to the Thailand. People talk about having your vision. What did I write here? Sorry. Sorry. Having a vision and your why. Sorry. Your why you got into the business. And the Reserve was one of the biggest reasons that I got involved into the business. And then it's changed because as a mother of 2 kids, you think it's a nice process to be able to stay at home and have a little bit of a freed up time to go on, go and watch a soccer match, or go and fetch your kids from school, which is a luxury. Or when you work hard, and you can say to your kids that this is what you're doing, or say to your family that this is my goal set for the time. So goal setting was one of the things that Sandy spoke about. And then you've got all these things that you need to set up. But I find that one of the speakers in Thailand actually said it as well. Her why changed many times. And I think it does. It gets bigger. You have this vision of a goal and why you've joined the business. And then you have a different experience and your why changes again. And I think it's a good thing to constantly be reevaluating why you are part of this business. And I think changing people's lives, doing this for yourself, not necessarily for other people's, but if you can change people's lives in a bigger way and be unselfish to why you're doing this, going forward, I think you have a bigger purpose. As Lindy says, she feels that we've got a bigger purpose in this business and in this life and this journey called Janice. As I mentioned earlier, I'm very, very thankful that I've been partnered up with Lindy, and she's phenomenal. She's a little bit ruthless sometimes, but I'm very, very appreciative of having her in my space and in my life. A little bit of advice that I've thought of in terms of this business is make an effort. Make an effort. I started and I watched videos. I looked at good things. I looked at negative things. I asked questions. I went to various different people throughout my team. I phoned various different people and I asked them, because everybody gave a different opinion and a different bit of advice to my question, which was quite nice because then I could formulate my own opinion of something. Or you could you've got the same thing, but they say it in a different way, but it might be more compatible to my thinking and thought process, so I can actually sell it on in that way. One of the other things is show interest. If you're asking questions, there's no stupid questions. And it's a lot of the things that I have some of my new people coming and going, I've got a question, but it might be very stupid. And I'll say there's no stupid question. The only stupid question is not asking a question. Ask the questions, get an answer, and then you can move on. If you don't know the answer And I say, especially when I'm saying to my new people, when you're sitting with somebody for the first time on your own and you're feeling very nervous, and somebody asks you a question, you think, I've read something about it, but I don't really know the answer. I always tell them, don't say I don't know, because it makes you feel stupid and it makes you look exactly how you're feeling, I would imagine. So my advice is I always say to them, you know what? Let me get you some better advice on that, and I can send you a video. I think what Janessa has done has put such a good platform together of such good information that when you aren't aware or have the right answer that you're wanting to give to them without sounding incompetent or don't know the answer, rather forward them something that will give them the exact answer. We're not doctors. We are not specialists in a face cream or a foundation or any of those types of things. So rather send them the correct information that they can actually use and go forward with. One of the things Lindy asked me to have a chat about is I've been very privileged in the last, say, 6 months. I got involved. How's my time looking? 2 minutes. Quick one. I got involved with a lady doing high teas about 6 months ago. And what she did is she's opened up a huge market for me. So as from one-on-one, what we're doing in network marketing, we sit with one person, we meet the next person, we do small little home events. She introduced me into a network of 150 ladies. So what she's asked me to do is come through and do a speaking and a talk showcase. So we put up a stand, we do demos. It was just before the launch of Envy and Zen. I came through, I did a showcase, and I did demos of the Envy in the front, and everybody was gobsmacked. They hadn't seen something like this. And I was amongst doctors talking about she grows skin and she does this, and these fancy doctors. And I got up and I spoke about a cream that can take away wrinkles, and they all laughed at me until they saw it. And they were so amazed about what these products can do. And it's something that's simple. You don't need to go to a salon. You don't need to go somewhere and have an invasive or a non-invasive procedure done. You can do it at home, in your bathroom, where you wash your face, put your cream on, and it's done. What that has opened up to me is many different people, and I've networked with a number of people where I say to my new people as well, look at your surroundings. I did a meeting with a lady the one day at a hotel, and we sat in the lobby and we did this, and there was a gentleman sitting across from us who said to me, I'd like to speak to you afterwards. And I said to him, I couldn't understand. Eventually he spoke to me and he asked me to be on his show, a radio show on the Monday morning. He said to me, he loved me. We ended up sitting with him in the evening. I canceled my next meeting because I found this one was so much more lucrative. I postponed my next meeting to the day after. However, I was on Kaya FM, which is one of our local radio stations, doing an interview on Janessa. Lindy's actually got the recording and she can post it if she'd like to. But this has opened a door and a gateway for me to many different things. Over the weekend, we did an event with one of our finalists for Mrs. Africa. And we did a few demos there as well. 100 ladies, where the event was spectacular in the least. But once again, you show people the demos of Envy. It's an instant gratification. And the ageless, instant gratification. People want something that they can use and they can see. They don't want a cream of a lady, and I'm very respectful to anybody's business, and I'll never ever knock anybody's business. But people, when they get up and they talk about growing skin and they've got a product that will assist you with that, there's a niche market for everything. However, our product is something that you can buy off somebody, buy it on the back office. People don't like going to the shops anymore. Buy it off your back office. It arrives at your door. Use it in your bathroom, and we can show results within at least 3 months. So yes, that's about it. In the next week, I'll be doing my plan for the 90-day run. My board's here. It's actually got one of Malcolm's sayings on. Stop waiting for people to come to you. Go and find them. It's one of the things that I do find is a big thing. And I found Lindy, and Lindy and I are going big. Watch this in the next 3 months. We're going elite. I'm putting it out there.
Fabulous. Where do I start? It'd be very difficult to
Sorry.
try and debrief what you've covered. I think it was absolutely brilliant. I think your passion and how you feel about this really came across there. I'd like you to mute, please. I think the important point, again, that you brought up, and people don't understand this, is that it only takes you to go out there and look for people, talk to people, and suddenly opens the door. And like you said, you went to see someone, she introduced you to 100 and something people, From that, you got a radio show, and from that, you met a finalist of something, and you're suddenly now going to be busy for the next 6 months. And the problem we have in this business is most people sit at home and they're waiting for people to come and knock on your door. Opportunity will not come and knock on your door. You've got to go out looking for the right people. I want to bring Colleen Ferguson back because she just sent me a quick message before my last guest comes online to share with you something she forgot, which I think is very, very important. Colleen.
Yes, thank you, Malcolm. I just wanted to give a super big kudos to the India team. At the Genes event on the 23rd, they announced that all of India's sales had totaled about $500,000 in sales, and my India team represented $63,000 of that. So I just want to give them a big kudos for their hard work with 5 Luminous products. They don't even have all the Luminous line, and they don't have Reserve or Instantly Ageless or anything else. So I just wanted to give them a big kudos for that. They should be very, very proud.
Excellent. Thank you so much for that. Isn't that amazing? Like I said, in just a matter of 7 or 10 days, they did all that volume. My last guest, but not least, is a lady that, again, has, you know, this business is about perseverance. It's about patience. It's having something that fires you up within, something that burns away, an ember that refuses to go out, something that just carries on smoldering away, because inside you know that soon the flame will come. And this lady is qualified as a Sapphire Elite. My next guest is Laurie Nos. I've got to pronounce this correctly. Oh my goodness, Laurie. You're going to tell me how to pronounce your name. I couldn't do that in my life there. But this wonderful lady is going to join us, Laurie, calling in from Canada, who's going to share with you her background, her journey. New Sapphire Elite in Canada. 2 we've had on tonight. My last guest, but not least, Laurie calling in from Canada. Laurie, over to you. Please train me and teach me how to pronounce your name.
Thank you, Malcolm. Can you hear me okay?
Perfect, yes.
Perfect. And it's the last name is Niskovsky, but don't worry, Laurie is good.
Okay, yes, that's it.
Yes. And I'm going to just apologize in advance. My internet is cutting out a little bit, so please let me know if there's any issues along the way, please. And I want to say thank you so much, Malcolm, for inviting me on the call this afternoon here and this evening over there. And I want to congratulate Lindy and Sharon on brand new Sapphires. Congratulations, well done. And Colleen, you know what, I have to say kudos to you. Congratulations on Sapphire Elite as well. And I know how hard you've been working with that India team, and amongst you and myself, and we've had a lot of great achievements over this past month and this past weekend in particular. So congratulations. And Sandy, of course, it's always my pleasure to be on a call with you. So yeah, Malcolm, you had asked me to share a little bit about my background. I have actually been in either direct sales or network marketing for about 20, I guess it's almost 22 years now. And I actually used to be a nurse. I come from a nursing background. I was a nurse for about 18 years at a local hospital here in Ontario, Canada. And I was not looking for anything. I was approached to do a direct sales company. It was clothing at the time. And, you know, but I have to say I was really grateful for it, because at that time, nursing was, I was laid off, I was on, I was off, I was on. And so it was kind of nice to have that extra paycheck, and something that in my heart was a little more secure, because at the time nursing was not. And so anyways, I started working, and I sometimes call it an accidental business, because it just took off on me. I became actually one of the top in the company in Canada, and it was just a wonderful ride, a wonderful journey, and but one of the things that it had done was it had opened me up to meeting some people along the way that had introduced me to a last company that many of us in GPG were in together. And that's when I had the privilege of meeting Ian and Judy Murray. And I actually got involved with that company, and just in time, because the other company that I was with went bankrupt. I didn't see it coming, but that's what happens. And I didn't know that it was on its way out, but because I was doing great. But it did introduce me to Ian and Judy, and of course our global partners group. And that was a great a great head shift for me. If anybody's ever done direct sales compared to network marketing, it is certainly a head shift. And I say that because you're going more from you know, parties and presentations with you know, carrying and lugging things to actually being able to share more about an opportunity. And it was a great head shift for me. I loved it. I'm so grateful for the change. And then we were with that company, and as Sandy will contest to, we weren't too happy with that company. They were making some changes and doing some things we weren't really happy with. And I was one of the ones, I had the privilege of joining some other leaders, as well as, of course, our founders, you know, Kathy and Paula, Ian and Judy, Carrie, Sandy. I had the privilege of going to spend 4 days actually with Wendy and Randy and the corporate team in with Jeunesse over 3 years ago now. And it was truly, I remember sitting in this boardroom. Sandy was there, of course, and we were all sitting there, and she'll know what I'm talking about. We were listening to the company. And at that point, I mean, we had just left a company that I think the best they'd ever done was, you know, maybe 27 million. And here we are listening to a company that just 245 million at that time. And we were just kind of like in awe, thinking, wow, this can't be true. And it was such an exciting time to be sitting there and listening to the growth of the company, to be listening to knowing the products, and coming from a nursing background, I loved the science behind these products. I loved it because it was so easy for me to talk about it. It was just something that I felt really comfortable about. But to hear the ethics of the company, but to hear how humble they were, but more importantly, to know their vision, to hear them. I remember Scott standing for the first time, us meeting him, and him standing in front of that room, and us hearing that vision that he had of this company, then to be $1 billion company. And we were just going, oh my gosh, this is amazing. And we all joined as a team that day, and that weekend actually, and it was such a great ride, and it's just been wonderful. I have expanded. Well, I mean, we've got India on our team now, and certainly many multiple countries, and it's just been a wonderful ride. And to be working with the people that I get to work with every single day, of course, our global partners group, but our team as well. I mean, we have an incredible team, and it's just been a wonderful ride. And you know, I guess if I could probably share a little tip of what I believe is to success is have a strong why. Your why has to be so powerful that doing whatever it takes is less fearful than losing your why. So, you know, it has to be just fire inside of your belly every single day, that you just live it every single day. And if you can do that and you stay focused on your why, and no matter what happens, nothing gets you off your game. I mean, life happens. We all do. I mean, I lost my father-in-law this year, and you know, but you just stay focused. I mean, at the end of the day, I guess probably one of the things I want to say too is, you know, I always say to people when they're joining my team that I worked at a hospital, and I worked for a boss and a supervisor on our floor in emergency. And, you know, it was, as much as I love nursing, and I think I'm a big nurse at heart, it was never a thankful job. I never got thanked, but that's okay. That's just what you do. But, you know, I got up, I made sure every day I went to work, that I had to go to work. I was there. I was on purpose. I was focused on doing what I needed to do for a boss. So I'm definitely going to do that for me, because I am my best boss. So that is just, to me, that's just really important, that you have to really treat this as a business. You are your boss, you are your CEO of this company, and you need to make sure that you're committing yourself every single day to what you want out of this, because at the end of the day, it's up to you. And I won't keep it, because I know we're going over time, Malcolm. So I'm just going to leave with a quote, and it's one of my very favorites, actually written on my whiteboard right up here. It's Jim Rohn, and Jim Rohn says, "We all suffer." I'm going to read it, make sure I don't mess it up. "We all suffer from one of two pains: the pain of discipline or the pain of regret. The difference is discipline weighs ounces, regret weighs tons. And I just think we have an opportunity here with Jeunesse and this future that this company has for us, that we can do anything we want here. We just have to make sure it's up to us. So thank you so much for today, and to all, congratulations, everyone.
Fabulous. Thank you very much for that. You know, let's just wind the call up. First of all, what a fabulous, fabulous, fabulous panel of guests. Lucky me, 5 gorgeous ladies sharing with you their journey and, you know, how they've got to where they have. And to have 2 new Sapphire Elites and 2 Sapphires on the call is wonderful. As I wind my call up, I want to remind you of a few things. And I want to talk to you heart to heart. You've heard on this call several things, and you've heard about the why. I'm going to share with you the fact that without the why, you're never going to make this business work. My why is, I was told about 9 years ago, I'm going to go blind. I went to the hospital just a few weeks ago, and unfortunately, it doesn't look too good. So if you want to hear about a why, I have a giant why. What's yours? What's your reason for building this business? The reason I share that with you is this. There is no question it works. People have made fortunes with Jeunesse. It's tried and tested, 8 years old. We're the only company in the world that's shoulder to shoulder with Facebook, with Google, with Apple, Amazon, eBay. No other company's ever done that. The only difference between those who do and those who don't is the why. What is your why? If it's painful enough where you are, if there's a reason that you have to do this, then you're going to understand what the journey of success is all about. If you're playing with this, it's going to play with you. If you're going to treat it like a business, it will pay you business money. No question about it. What is your why? If your why isn't big enough as a parent, then look at your children. They're coming into a crazy world. They're coming into a world that has gone insane. People have lost the plot. Integrity is no more. How we behave towards each other has changed. You owe it as a parent in that case to think about your children. If you don't have children, and plenty of practice like I have, then you've got to think about your parents, because you need to be there for them as they were there for you. This is a vehicle, Jeunesse. That's what it is. It's not about whether the product's the best. There's no question the products are the best. The India team has built this business on a dream. They built it on the fact that they knew a company to do 1.4 billion, about to do 2 billion this year, the product had to be great. No other company in the history of this industry, and I've been in it for many years, has ever had people like Vogue, Forbes, OK Style, everybody talking about it. What is your why? What's going to get you up in the morning to talk to people? And as I finish my call off, I want to tell you this. Every one of my guests on this call, someone talked to them about this opportunity. A little passenger pigeon didn't come over there and, you know, lay an egg or poop or whatever and send them a message to their door. Someone talked to them about it. And in this business, I want to write this down, we're in the sorting business. We're not in the convincing business. I keep telling people that. We're not in the convincing business. If you just go sign people up, or I signed him up, they're not going to do anything. You're looking for lookers. You're looking for people who are hungry, people who are dissatisfied. People say to me, Malcolm, who are we looking for? I'm going to tell you on this call on the 1st of October, 2017. We're looking for dissatisfied people. That's what we're looking for. We're looking for people who want more, to be more, to have more, to do more. And you know the great thing about this business, as I wind my call up today, you will become successful by helping others to become successful. Someone is waiting for you to talk to them. I think it's a shame if you can't go out there and share what I believe is the most extraordinary thing that's ever happened. 150 countries, 7 billion people on this planet, over 1.5 billion that desperately need a vehicle like this. Look at South Africa, look at Zambia, look at what's happened in India. What's your excuse? I don't think there's any, because it's all been taken away. My guests today were from left to right. Colleen Ferguson, new Sapphire Elite, calling in from Canada. Absolutely brilliant girl. I can't wait to work with her and meet her again. We got Lindy, who's calling in from South Africa. Fabulous lady. She's going to get a slap bottom, a very hard one too, because she needs to get a new camera and a new microphone. I'm sure she'll do that. The gorgeous, fabulous lady. What a passionate speaker. Laurie calling in from Canada. Someone who I love secretly, Sandy calling in from America. She is absolutely one of the nicest people you'll ever meet. Anyone who's been around her will know that you'll have a love affair with this woman. She is absolutely fabulous. The gorgeous Sharon calling in from South Africa. And me, Mahatma Gandhi, Buddha, mixed with Marvin Hagler, Malcolm Peters, saying, have a fabulous week. Look forward to seeing you all on the call next Monday. Go out there and talk to someone. You could change their life, and in doing so, you'll change yours. Goodbye, everyone. Thank you for joining our call tonight.